to Cover Decoder, folks. Or as the show is becoming, pour out a little liquor, because it's dangerous out there.
Cover to dead coder.
It's rough. But this is still the show that bites into the jelly donut of history to suck out the delicious truth from within.
I don't know. I think we're unearthing the grave of the old and
we are
piling
sucking out
the
the
bodies
delicious
of the past.
jelly within.
Oh man, sad times. But you know what? All these people are like kind of in the same age group, so it makes a lot of sense.
And for us, they're legends. A lot of these people were old when we were young, and so they kind of had that legendary. And the other thing too is we love old shit. We love old stuff.
We do. We're all about it.
I will not apologize for being.
Listen here, my knees hurt and my hips hurt, and that means I like good music.
That's right. I was swinging.
And good books.
That's it.
That's right. What do we got today, Inks? We got some cool stuff for you, folks. And by that I mean some awesome people have died and allowed us to make this episode.
Thank you.
Let's dive in to their sad, putrefied remains and unearth some covers.
All right. So I began research and I realized I had made a grave mistake.
Ooh,
I have done
a grave mistake.
Terrible thing. Yes, pun absolutely intended. I missed Kenny Rodgers dying March 20th. Kenny Rodgers. Now,
dude, the beard, the part.
Okay, Kenny Rodgers. First slide, I've got some things pulled up.
The shaggy gray hair part. It's almost like what's that dog?
Shaggy Dog. With Tim Allen?
No, yeah.
He totally looks like Al from but he looks like everyone's favorite stepdad. This is the stepdad that's coming to every single one of your track meets. He's coming to every single one of your swim meets. He's coming to your spelling bees. He is going to be there with McDonald's and your coat when it's time to go home. This guy will encourage you. Hey, I'm sorry you never met your real dad, but I'm here for you.
You don't have to call me Dad, but you can call me Kenny.
You know what?
That's
I don't need to be your dad. I just need to be your friend.
Kenny Rodgers is the ultimate stepdad name, too.
Yeah, I got written here that Kenny Ray Rodgers, the smooth man lion of country, who Michael McDonald wishes he was. He was born August 1938, and he died March 20th. He died of natural causes, as his family said. It was not the COVID, but it was not Kenny Rodgers sneaking into his house. It was not Michael McDonald sneaking into his house, putting a pillow over his face. Do we really want to do this, Michael?
Remember you.
It took my style and my part. Do we really have to do this, Michael? But Kenny Rodgers is really famous for the song "The Gambler." You know, "The Gambler." The know when to hold 'em.
Not at all.
When to fold 'em.
Inks. I do not think I know a single Kenny Rodgers song.
Are you kidding me? You don't know "The Gambler"?
I don't think so. I don't think I know a single Kenny Rodgers song either.
Know when to know when to run. You gotta count.
Oh yeah, that one. Right,
lessons.
Of course. Yeah, that one.
Standing at the table. Okay.
This is undiscovered country for me.
It's funny because I'm kind of the eye on country, and I totally missed this one. And I felt really ashamed because he is, he's not always like got these big hits, but he's done some killer duets. Islands in the Stream.
Wynette.
Yeah. Islands in the Stream with Dolly Parton. Sheena Easton, We've Got Tonight. This is anniversary music. We've got tonight. Yeah, this is making the steak and lobster off of the mail-in food kit you got. And
this is just wiping your greasy hands off on your bowl tie.
That is right. And he's
smoking
just got this
in the lounge.
If you listen to his music, I listened to some of his albums today. I listened to the first album I've got pictured here. It is Kenny Rodgers, "Love Lifted Me," and it is absolutely.
Can we talk about this cover?
Yeah,
first?
absolutely. This is his first album.
What what is this? Is this his family having dinner?
This is Meemaw's
And he's like,
kitchen.
I just want you all on my album cover for supporting me.
Yeah, take a look at here. We got Meemaw, Mimi, Mama, and there's Papaw, and there's Uncle Gruffus, and there's Dwilly.
I like how Edna's back here with her holding up her bread she just freshly
her
baked.
pound cake, Edna's famous pound cake.
You can practically see it steaming. It just came out of the oven.
I could
Dude,
taste it.
And Rex is over here. He hurt his leg on his BMX bike.
Yeah,
and
Rex
so
is absolutely 18
he's got his
years
crutches on.
Yeah.
Dude, the color palette of this cover looks like your grandma's Hummel doll collection.
I'm gonna tell you what I'll tell you what, that wallpaper. That wallpaper is my childhood.
Pulls it out for Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Yeah, let's talk about the single bulb hanging from the fixture that's meant for two bulbs instead of a chandelier. Let's talk about that. Yeah.
Damn it, Kenny, when are you going to pay to fix our damn chandelier?
Hey,
you're making all these hits.
Can we get a second bulb in this one? You know we only bring out the second bulb for special occasions, all right? We're going to keep that one bulb, and if you don't like it, you can kiss my
now notice.
Yeah, you can kiss my ass.
There's an empty chair here.
Yeah.
So the real mystery of this photo is who took the photo.
That's true.
It was Michael McDonald after he was asked to leave.
I listened to it.
Hey there, Michael. Before you go, would you mind snapping a quick pic for my newest hit single?
No problem, gonna kill you later.
After you get done with that, can you do me a favor and get your own fucking style? Stop biting my style, you fucking has-been.
So, what year was this one?
Oh boy, I messed up. I don't have the year on this one.
Okay, that's fine.
I will say he looks kind of like a badass in this picture. I mean,
Yeah,
he's
he
got
does.
a lot of black on.
This is a crime family.
He's got some cool boots on. He's got a dog. He looks kind of like the outcast of the family a little bit.
This was the style.
The
bushy
long
beard,
hair, the beard.
aviators.
I think what you touched on there, Brengineer, is probably true. It's like that's probably the thing. It's this wholesome, Midwest family, and then Kenny Rodgers is like sitting there looking hard,
Well, the first track is "Love Lifted Me," and it's absolutely a Southern gospel. Love lifted me, and then about halfway through, there's this song that is called "Let's Get It While the Feeling Is Good," and it's basically about coming home and applying the lotion to your leathery, hard-worked hands. Going to the bathroom, using the special soap with the lavender and the rose petals, and then gently laying your wife's head back as you plow her into the best night's sleep she's had all week. And you don't realize it's a sex song until about 3/4 away, and you're like, wait, he's talking about plowing her gently into the best sleep she's been having.
Is that because that's actually a lyric?
No, but if anybody is coming up with some gentle fucking songs, you can have that one for free. The next album.
So this first, real quick. Sorry not to cut you off here, but this first vinyl, for the tape finder, I might pick this first one up. I enjoy weird kind of chintzy looking records, and this is definitely one of them. However, part 2, Kenny Rodgers and the Gambler, I would for sure pick this shit up.
The crosshairs are red. Now this is the album to his most famous title track. It's a pretty cool photo setup. It looks like the front of a clue box. It's got Kenny Rodgers right in the middle, looking just soft and velvety and just country, and then he's got all of these super interesting riverboat types. This is absolutely a riverboat. This is
riverboat types.
Well, you can tell there's this prostitute hanging off him. You can tell he promised her all his chips.
She actually
look at that.
She currently has her hand in his pants. Actually, he's just trying to hide the fact that he has a massive boner.
But he's got a little grin on there. He's like, yeah, she's checking out the jewels.
I mean, he looks so plain compared to everyone around him, but you can tell that this isn't for pleasure. This is for business.
I just want to make something clear. All of these album covers you will find in the bargain bin at your local Goodwill.
They will have a green sticker that you may or may not peel off. For me, it's a not peel off.
And it's probably going to be around 50 cents.
It'll be 50 cents.
And it may or may not work.
All of these covers look like they used the colors from like a Southern Thanksgiving dinner. It's all gravy, potatoes, and like the white meat of the turkey.
100%.
There's like a little collard green on the table. And other than that, it's all browns and like.
But no one's touching the collard green. That's going to Benny the dog under the table.
This is a time when the lettering actually fits in really well. Sometimes the lettering is jarring and doesn't fit in with the album, but the filigree and everything just fits right in. It's got that tarnished gold.
Great.
Yeah, I'll say of the covers composed like this, this one is actually quite appealing.
It's a good cover.
Yeah, I like
cover.
It. It looks like I'm about to go into a saloon and hang out with sassy Kenny.
It definitely it creates a time. It replicates a certain time and place in history.
Right.
That is 1800s gambling boats.
Yeah.
Riverboats.
Riverboat. This is riverboat.
What is it about gambling boat? That just
there's something extra dangerous about being on water, moving while you're
they can
trying
just throw
to
you in the river,
14 aces in
right
your
quick.
butt. Yeah. But I think this is a good example of a cover in which photography is an art. There are some things that are just took a picture, bam, slap it. This is everyone got costumes on. Everyone held that pose for like 13 minutes to where they had a nice butt sweat working. This is photography as an art. Okay, speaking of art, I got to move on to this cover.
Real quick here. I just want to jump in here, and I want to tell you, I do know a story about Kenny Rodgers.
Ooh, tell me a story.
And so, Kenny Rodgers had never been to Russia before, and so he got an opportunity to go to Russia to do this big tour in Russia, and no one really in Russia liked his music, right? And then he went to a store and got a tracksuit. This was a powder.
Holy shit! Are we getting Brengineered?
This was
we're getting
this is a powder blued Adidas tracksuit. He got a gold chain, and he just squatted a lot, and suddenly he blew up.
That I don't know if I can believe that, but I want to, especially since the next cover he's wearing kind of a blue tracksuit.
Yeah, this cover this cover would be a hard one to find. This is where he's gone full
Comrade,
mob
have
boss.
you heard of this Kenny Rodgers guy?
Yeah,
he wears blue Adidas.
He looks like he looks like a big man on campus. He's very.
There's some Russian mob boss who feeds his enemies to his pigs who loves Kenny Rodgers.
It looks just like that. I mean, at this point, his hair has gone so floofy, his ears have disappeared. He's just a full-on...
Before we break your legs, would you like to hear some Kenny Rodgers?
Please turn it up. This is my favorite jam. Islands in the stream.
The man could squat for a long time.
And then finally, last album...
This is Stepdad.
This is his last album. Right now, this looks like Kenny Rodgers just threw his son-in-law out of the house and is wiping the blood off his knuckles. And he's
That's
like,
right.
Oh yeah,
I just told him what for. I
held my tongue for 14 years for my daughter, you son of a bitch. But I'm not going to have you leaving the toilet seat up like that.
Most disconcerting, if you zoom in on his thumb, it looks like he's got black fingernail polish on it, like he's gone straight out of his mind.
He's gone Pat Boone.
I shouldn't have gone to Russia. Russia changes a man.
It changes a man. He's got stars tattooed on his knees.
He stopped hitting the McDonald's so hard. So that is Kenny Rodgers. He is legendary for his smooth, silky, caressing country. And there was a song. You should check out all of his best-known music, especially the duets. But one of the ones that hit me was Coward of the County.
Coward of the County.
The fuck? I just hit up his most popular music, and Coward of the County.
My stepson is a coward of the county.
I'm not going to say on the show what goes on in the song, but I'm telling you, if you don't think Kenny's hard, listen to Coward of the County, and you tell me. Okay, Kenny.
Is it a little Stagger Lee there? Awesome. All right, Kenny. We raise our glasses of possibly wine.
Yes.
And we pour a little out on the floor.
And another thing, if you don't think you've heard a Kenny Rodgers song, Islands in the Stream that he did with Dolly Parton, that song is sampled or covered and then sampled in Ghetto Superstar with Old Dirty Bastard, Another Fallen Warrior. So Kenny Rodgers, straight arrow to Wu-Tang. Just want y'all to think about that.
Absolutely. That makes total... Yep. That's direct correlation. All right. And Inks here, I think, is taking us on our next one. And I'm quite excited about this because we're going to talk about one of the kings of rock and roll here.
One of the kings.
Who has also sadly passed this month.
Yes. I had to do that one as sort of like my makeup homework. That was the homework that I forgot to turn in 2 months ago.
Kenny Rodgers has been stinking for a couple months now, sadly.
But yes, I got the call from Tapes. I got the assignment for Little Richard, and I went...
Little Richard. Oh, man. Crack out your Vietnam movies, crack out your Arnold Schwarzenegger Predator, and crack out your toaster because shit's about to get real.
Shit's about to get real.
Real sweaty.
Real sweaty. Okay.
Real sweaty. So red.
Yeah, you got to start. You got to start, Inks, because there's so much I want to say right now.
Okay, so the theme my format has been to do first cover, last cover, and then cool shit in between. I didn't get to the last cover with Little Richard because there's so much good shit in between. In fact, I deleted a cover off of here and pulled out a different one because I couldn't not talk about the 4 covers that I've got here. First one is Here's Little Richard. And
dude, he either just got his Leroy slammed in a car door, he is either taking a star-shaped shit, or he is just having the time of his life. It's one of those 3. That's it. Maybe all 3.
Maybe all 3 at the same time.
Look at that. Look at that roar.
I know. Talk about man lion. When you dive into early rock and roll, in one of our episodes, we were talking about a nexus of things happening. When a genre is created, it doesn't just go...
It fractures.
Yeah, it mutates over time. It's an evolution. But Little Richard is involved in the early days of rock and roll. Now, I wouldn't say he invented rock and roll. There's a lot of other things going on at the same time that sound very
absolutely much like... created the hard style of rock and roll. I will say that.
Yeah, he was a champion of it. He was definitely a progenitor of it. And he was touring around New Orleans in the different tap houses and the different bars and things. And he had this whole style before he even started recording. But eventually, he was discovered by Bumps Blackwell. Now, Bumps Blackwell, the producer. Now,
what a name.
Need to talk about, for one, we need to talk about nowadays, we have a problem, and the problem is weak-ass nicknames. Bumps Blackwell is a solid name. You give me any nickname from the 1950s, even 1960s, it's going to be so convoluted and obscure that the story is going to take at least 20 minutes to explain that nickname.
Bugs Rhapsody, Carrot Slapstick.
That's right.
Donald Raffigan.
Crumple Toe Wilson. Yeah.
Tortellini Bucassini.
Shoe Tack Timothy. You know, there's all these so Bumps Blackwell decides to record Little Richard. He brings him into the studio, and Little Richard's not doing so hot. He's real shy. He's not pumping it out. He's doing this gospel stuff, and Bumps is like, man, this is not what I was hearing at the bar.
Where's that?
Yeah, where's that? So they decide to break for lunch. They go to lunch to a girly bar or a place of a strip
Night
joint,
women?
I think it's a titty bar,
Ooh.
but it's a bar in which there's
Mons and
girls,
Power
there's
Patches?
alcohol, and apparently the best lunch you can buy for $7 at the time. And
They got Maine steak bites.
that's right. And Little Richard's joking around. He's in his element. This is his natural habitat. And he gets on the piano that's over in the corner. And he starts bip, 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 and he's like wop bop baloo bop. Goddamn. He's like, goddamn.
See him titties?
Tutti frutti.
All flapping.
Yeah.
See
Tutti
the
frutti.
bitties? All flapping.
Yeah.
See the bitties?
And he
All
says-
flapping.
Yeah.
About
And he says,
that booty, I want
goddamn.
2 pounds.
Tutti frutti. Good booty. Tutti frutti. Good booty. Woo. And Bumps is like, hell yeah, that is what I'm talking about. Get that good booty. Let's go back to this thing. Let's get the session. And then he has them do the whole lyrics. The lyrics are nasty. They're raunchy for the time. Tutti frutti, good goddamn good booty is not going to fly. So they bring in a Dorothy.
What a lord. That's amazing.
Yeah, they bring in Dorothy Lavostrom, and she's this sweet young lady. And they want her to rewrite the lyrics. Little Richard is so shy and bashful and embarrassed, he has to sing his song to the wall so he can't look her in the face.
That is bizarre.
And finally, she busts out these lyrics. They have 15 minutes left in the session, and they record Tutti Frutti, All Rudy. And that is his first single that really puts him on the map for Little Richard, this first album. And that is 1956, I believe. Is that right?
Yep.
1956. Richard Wayne.
Damn.
That's amazing, folks. And if you listen to his music, the energy, the bounce, like all that stuff, that it's harder than just about anything else that was put out at that time. And you can absolutely hear that influence in a lot of artists. I mean, even look at the guy. Look at the guy. All right, if you look over at the next slide, tell me that's not Prince.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Tell
That's
me
the first
that's
thing.
not just
it's the
Prince
first thing
ripping
I
off
thought
his
when I
whole
started
thing.
researching this. I was like, this is Prince before Prince.
Yeah. So this guy, you can even if you just look at him, you can see the style. You can see the ripples being made in history. Especially that pencil thin mustache is just a greasy little strip of power right there. That is the Tutti Frutti patch.
The power stash.
Yeah, the power stash. So before we move on, I will say he died due to bone cancer. So
cancer?
He did not
Which
go
bone?
out quietly.
You know what I mean? Was it the Tutti
87.
Frutti bone?
This is a Tutti Frutti bone. But I just have to get that out because again, COVID did not claim Little Richard. It was bone cancer.
Oh, I thought he had died of the Womp Bompaluba.
He died.
He had contracted the Womp Bomb Bomb.
The bone bombaluba, bone cancelabaluba. But what Tapes is describing when he's talking about a glowing, sweaty.
Oh, this cover.
Prince of a man.
This cover
is the real.
So you know
thing.
how you go? Do you know how you go to a Chinese restaurant and you order the duck? This is crispy duck, Little Richard.
He looks like a ham that your Aunt Linda put in for too long, and his pores are just exploding apricot glaze.
This is Little Richard So Chicken. Yeah. Yeah. He is glowing, he is dripping in this album, and it's because this is a comeback album. He had not put out an album for 3 years, and he came back with the real thing, and it is spelled R-I-L-L thing.
Yes.
So it is its own flavor.
Dude, he was changing words and making them his own thing before, like, hip hop needed an excuse to rhyme things. That's amazing.
I listened to that album, and the first track is Freedom Blues, and it slaps, and it's about black rights. And you think about it as in 1970, it is the the most slapping, bopping, energetic march song I've ever heard.
You guys want to know something really cool about Little Richard? Is that his concerts were so energized. It was one of the first occurrences where they were segregated concerts, but they could not keep them segregated because people were so. Actually, his concerts were some of the first examples of black and white people actually mixing and commingling and enjoying music together as one group. So how's that for a fucking legacy that your music, your energy, your style actually brings people in a time of, like I said, segregation together under, one roof. Such a cool thing.
All of their preconceptions, all of their former notions, and to be one with the music.
Yeah, under one pencil thin stash.
That's what it's all about.
And that's why we move on to the next cover, which is the king of rock and roll. He put this out a year later.
Yeah.
This is an incredible photo of him on a throne. And
Holy
again,
shit,
this is photography
Once
as
again,
art.
Isaac Hayes.
Yeah.
The robe, the throne.
Yeah, that's you're thinking of Black Moses. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and he's got the rays behind him. But again, this is photography as art. Like, if the photography is art. And so, just like any kind of art, there's good, bad. There's good art, there's bad art. But this one is really cool. It's taken from way down at the bottom, and it's looking up and is following his purple gold-lined robe as he sits upon a throne, crooked, with his hair probably 3 times the size that it normally should be. This is...
I like this.
That's some tall hair.
I really like this. This is really cool. It's really evocative. It really tells a tale. He looks like this awesome televangelist prophet, just ready to.
I was gonna say this looks like it belongs on some like cult leader's Bible.
I would buy this. This cover, I would absolutely buy this just based off the cover.
Yeah.
It's got something they did a lot in the 70s when they wanted to take an image, like a photo, and they wanted to add stuff to it. We talked about this with well, he had the glowing orb. We talked about it.
Kenny Loggins.
Wizard.
Yeah, Kenny Loggins. Thank you.
Wizard.
The Velvet Wizard.
Episode 7. Check it out. Episode 7.
Yes, it's another wizard who is a velvet wizard. But another Kenny with a beautiful hair part.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But in this case, in both that Kenny Loggins record and this one, airbrush has been applied to the background. So
how can you tell this is airbrush? How do you know this is airbrush?
Rays.
You don't know that,
dude.
How do you know that?
Yes, I do.
Brendan here can smell it.
I can smell airbrush.
Inks, you're an airbrusher. Is this airbrush?
I don't think I've ever picked up an airbrush.
You did the wall art.
I've done the digital airbrush. I don't know.
You airbrush inks?
I thought this was an illustration at first because I really looked for the artist of it and I couldn't find anything. In fact, the credits are pretty scant on this record. This record's kind of funky. It's the King of Rock and Roll. The first title track is the ultimate diss track. He gets on there and he's like, Elvis ain't the king, I'm the king. And he's just like, this person, it just goes down the line of, this person I think is not very good. The Beatles, not very good. The Rolling Stones. No, he just goes down the line and says like, all these people are cool, but I was here first, and He just lays it out with like so much energy. If you can make a dance track that you can dance, if you can make a diss track that you can dance to, it's going to carry all summer.
You have
people
succeeded.
are going to hear your name being dissed in the clubs as they But then he goes and he proceeds to cover a bunch of beloved rock songs of the time. Brown Sugar he covered, which I'm guessing the Rolling Stones, who were a big fan of Little Richard, was thrilled for. But it's kind of a cool album because you get to hear these songs you've heard before, but done with the Little Richard sauce.
The Little Richard sauce.
All over it.
The apricot sweat glaze.
the best of all these covers is the next, as far as just a really striking album cover.
Finally, I bring you 1972. So we started we started at 1956, then we went to 1970 with a comeback, 1971 with the King of Rock and Roll, and now we've got 1972's Second Coming. I'm going to turn this over to you guys to describe.
Okay, well, the song is called The Second Coming. And here is Little Richard
doing
sweating again. So it's a combination of the first one. Is he crapping glass? Is he is he having the time of his life? Mixed with sweat pouring out of his face.
He has finished stuffing the turkey. The turkey has finally.
Yes. I think it's pretty clear what's going on here.
The gravy has been injected.
I found the cover art to this, or the cover artist to this one is David Willardson.
Here we go.
I kind of found a new resource for us today. I went on All Music, and if you go to All Music, there's a ton of ads you have to fish through, but there is, the way they've got the albums arranged, you can actually hit a file that says credit, and it drops down all the credits. Now, sometimes the credits aren't there, but when it's for us who are looking for the cover artist, it will have that cover artist accredited.
Oh, that's great.
And so that's how I found David Willardson. I looked him up. He worked on a bunch of Disney characters and redesigned a new look for the Disney movie posters. When you go to his website, which is now archived, it's mostly Disney stuff, and you see a couple of portraits every once in a while. None of what I'm seeing here.
We have taken over his art. We haven't trapped him.
Full detail airbrush of every single one of Little Richard's curls. He has a veritable ambrosia of curls upon his head, and it's no wonder that he is sweating, because
I think this is probably one of his most effective covers, just based on the pure red background.
Yes.
And the fact that I love this. I love this. The title of the album is maybe an inch in size.
It's
so tiny.
So small. This
you
is
can
an
barely
eye
see
grabber.
it. Yeah, it's absolutely an eye grab. It's what Brengineer talked about. I forget what episode, but we did. We've done so many.
Yes,
but
we're very professional.
He talked about how it was I Am Legend, our last one. He talked about how instead of flopping a giant logo on your piece, have it either not on there or on the side, and that's basically what this is. Minuscule, super small, so the art just speaks about what you are about to hear.
The thing is here, you look at this piece, it's clearly Little Richard, and so much of what having a logo or something on your piece, it's all about branding.
Right.
You know? You have
Little Richard is the brand.
I don't know. He's the brand. I mean, you could have any sort of rock and roll band or whatever, and the cover isn't going to say what you're about. The cover could be anything, so you need your logo or your font or whatever on here. But when you're a person like Little Richard and your face is smack dab on the cover, you don't need a bunch of font mucking up your cover.
Yeah, this is portraiture as a landscape. He is a landscape.
Who did this?
This is David Willardson, and like I said, I went and looked at his website and stuff like that. It was mostly his Jackson Pollock-y Disney characters, which were fun and everything, but I wanted to see this. I wanted to see this kind of stuff, and I just didn't see it. But I will link to him. He is out there.
David Willardson, well done. I truly think, though some of the other ones I enjoy for different reasons, I think this is probably the most effective of the covers. And speaking of Little Richard, there are two things I think of. Yes. I'll be honest. I went back. I listened to his music. His music is amazing. It's fantastic. But being a child of the later years, there are two things that I remember. One is Predator when they're in the chopper.
Yeah. The
second is a film supposedly for children about inanimate objects going on a journey to find a little boy, which I see that Inks went ahead and already had the grace to put in here.
I had to. That is one of the most iconic parts of the movie is when the John Lovitz radio puts on some cleaning music, and it's Tutti Frutti, Good Booty, All Rudy. Real quick,
Dude,
though,
folks,
on that last album, Second Coming, I just want to say this before I forget. There's a song on there everyone has to listen to. It's called Nuki Suki. Nuki Suki. And it is I meant to text you guys to listen to it today before the show, but it is so juicy. It is so dripping. And
is it dripping apricot glaze?
I was shocked when I heard it. And it's just like it is sexy. It is
all right,
sexy.
Nuki Suki.
But back to children's movies.
You may be the king of rock and roll, right? You may pull all this album, but you have to be of real import to land the Brave Little Toaster. And seriously, the only thing I know Little Richard from is the Brave Little Toaster. Easily. I know there's so many people who know the song Tutti Frutti, not because of the radio or anything, but because they watched a movie about a blanket, a toaster, a lamp, a radio, and a vacuum going on an adventure and meeting a terrifying clown.
Guys, cover junkies out there, this movie is a little piece of my soul.
Yeah.
I watched this religiously as a child, and if you watch it as an adult, this is
dark.
You know what the cool thing about this movie is? This is Toy Story way before Toy Story was even an idea.
100%.
This is inanimate objects, but this is Toy Story like in a dark realm, because like in the beginning of a movie there is an AC unit, and the AC unit is angry. Richard Dreyfuss is angry because he never got to be played with.
It's got the mustache.
He's got all the other inanimate objects are bitching about how the master isn't around, and he starts freaking out and going into this crazy, scary depression because he never got to be played with.
Yeah.
I wasn't fun. I wasn't cool.
Dreyfuss. Yeah.
And he starts coughing out sparks, and then he like dies.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I watched this as a child.
Yeah, and there's like a whole repair shop with like
Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Frankenstein appliances.
There's a creepy
song. And then they go in. They go into a forest with creepy trees.
There's a Don Bluth nightmare where the Brave Little Toaster meets It the Clown, and he dangles him over a pool, like a pool full of water.
I was gonna say, this is Toy Story directed by Don Bluth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dark and solemn, and man.
And here's the amazing,
creepy.
The amazing thing is the cover looks like a fun magical journey, and your kids are gonna love it. And you watch it, and you're like, no, this is horrifying. This is real life.
It's intense. And I pulled up the VHS because that's what I remember.
That's right. That's what you did.
Oh, yeah, I get the VHS.
Good
and
boy.
I really wanted to find the artist of this. I looked. I couldn't find the artist of this because the VHS is really cool. It's got the Brave Little Toaster on the front. They're all collected onto this chair, which is their chariot. But then it does a thing that VHSs used to do really well, where on the back you've got the description, you've got a couple of shots from the movie, but then it's got this little like heroic, crossing the canyon image that doesn't even happen in the movie, but it just adds so much flavor.
Oh no, it does.
Oh yeah, it does. I forgot. That happens in the movie, but this draws you in, and it's done in a way that the VHS is almost a book.
Yeah, absolutely. What do we have next to here? I didn't realize the Brave Little Toaster was a book.
The Brave Little Toaster.
That's the most terrifying blanket. That blanket looks like a human skin laid off somebody's back and attached to a chair. No.
Just a human skin.
That's actually Kenny Rodgers after Michael McDonald finished up with him.
Cut his face off.
He turned him into the blanket from Brave Little Toaster.
I was mad. I couldn't find the artist to the VHS cover, and I went to the dark, cummy depths of the internet today with the filmy VHS racks, and I looked and I could not find the artist, so I was like, fine, I'm going to find the artist to something Brave Little Toaster, and I pulled up the book and I went, oh, So this is illustrated by Karen Lee Schmidt. I found an artist to something.
Yeah, there you go.
And she did the illustrations in the book, The Brave Little Toaster, which the characters totally take on different personalities. Like that vacuum cleaner doesn't look grumpy anymore. The radio looks dead. The
blanket looks like a human skin face,
yes.
a dead skin mask.
I think the movie's an improvement. Blanky's so adorable in the movie. In this, he's just Buffalo Bill Blanky. He's Blanky Bill. He's Buffalo Blanky Bill.
Would you wear me?
Yeah,
Would you stay warm with me?
The toaster has these dead eyes, like black dead shark eyes. He's just waiting for you to put your hand in there to collect the toast before he snaps his little hot wires shut on your digits.
The toaster's little flipper hands are now the nose.
Oh, no.
I don't know what he grabs onto things with. I don't know what he saves his friends with, but it's not his nose.
Do we know what this was made with?
It's his cable, which is his penis.
Ink and watercolor.
This is watercolors.
Yeah, the watercolor.
Yeah, well, once again, it looks like Easter eggs colors. It's very scary. It looks like your weird aunt again gave this to you as a child, and you're like, thanks, Auntie. I'm gonna totally read this later.
I'm gonna make sure that this faces down on the bookshelf.
Yeah. Make sure you sleep with it in your bed. Okay.
That's when you hear the Richard Dreyfuss AC, telling you about how no one ever played with his buttons.
Well, what an amazing correlation. We go from rock and roll, Little Richard, it takes us through the tutti fruity fun waves all the way to Brave Little Toaster, which I believe was made in, I don't know, what was that,
80s, mid-80s.
Was it 88 or something?
Mid-80s,
I don't know.
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, something like that.
The VHS here was put out, looked like 1988. That's what's awesome about putting VHS covers up, because it's got all the information on the back. This movie's only 90 minutes?
Yeah, it's short. Short and sweet. Definitely go pick yourselves up a copy of Brave Little Toaster on VHS.
It's
buy a
beautiful
VHS player to watch it. Do not watch it on DVD. So no way.
It's just not the same.
No go. And with that, speaking of things that are old and things that have influenced the world, another person is in the ground or possibly cremated and floating around the stratosphere. And that would be Florian Schneider from the band Kraftwerk.
Kraftwerk.
Yes, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know Kraftwerk, you probably don't. If you're listening to this, you most likely don't know Kraftwerk. You have to be a hardcore...
Your average person
You know the
doesn't
children
know
of Kraftwerk.
Yeah, you got to be a major nerd. You have to be one of those guys like, well, yeah, Kraftwerk? You don't know Kraftwerk?
Dude, I listened to their first demos. Like, I got their first demos here in cassette tape. Here, let me move this old plate of Chinese food and pizza crusts and get into my cassette tape collection here.
Hey, you guys try not to touch anything while you're in my den.
Well, you're in my Kraftwerk den. Kraftwerk is a pretty crazy band. They started off as a krautrock band. Krautrock is the German psychedelic rock movement, basically, in Germany. You got bands like Amandul and Can, who started doing just long musical interludes and messing around with instrumentation and doing all those things. So.
Very experimental, often noisy, often self-indulgent. But a lot
long
of it
solos.
Also very good.
It's kind of like I would equate it to if you listen to Pink Floyd's early albums, krautrock is a lot like that, but it has that German industry about it. Is the best way I can describe it. And Kraftwerk started off doing that stuff. Their first two albums. If you guys look here at the slide we're going to get into this cover, but their logo with the cautionary traffic cone and their logo and their band name, that's just the cover of their first two albums, except one is green and one is orange. And those two albums are, like I said, very much krautrock. But their third album, which came out in 1973, is entitled Ralph and Florian. And here it is for you guys to see. Do one of you want to explain?
Ralph looks like he has a power glove at home. That's what he looks like. He looks like he has a glove with a keyboard attached to it that will take him through time and space.
Ralph definitely has the Jeffrey Dahmer glasses going on. His hair's a little longer. Also, it looks like maybe one of his frames was punched in a little bit earlier, and he just like pushed it back in for this photo. Florian is like the weird guy in your class who just photobombs your high school shoot.
Yeah, he's always got a briefcase.
Hi, I'm here.
He looks like he's a captain of a chess club.
Backpacks.
It's very black and white. It has very German lettering over the top of it with the Ralph and the Florian there.
Yeah, it's that sort of, I don't even know what you call it lettering, but you see it like Gustav's.
Oh, it's stencil. It's stencil lettering. It's like
it's like Baltic in Word or whatever.
It's totally construction stencil.
No, I mean over Florian and Ralph.
Oh yeah, this is like Gothic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that German Gothic. I don't even know, but that you've seen it. You've seen that around. My question is what's with this music? What's with this musical note on his lapel?
Dude, I'm telling you, he's the weird band kid that just jumps into your photo.
Yeah.
He's like, get out of here, Florian. I'm trying to take a picture. This is my girlfriend.
He opens up his lunch. It's got little different compartments with pre-measured food and dietary, perfection laid out with certain sauces. Yeah, and he brings his own fork.
So this album, this photo was taken by Frau Milfa. She was a notable PE teacher. She was also their high school photographer, as it turns out. So, yeah, like I said, this was definitely taken on premise.
Are we getting taped, or is this legit?
No, this is legit. Look it up on Google. You will have to spend a significant amount of time, but you will find Frau Milfa. Yeah. Don't type her name in. You'll get some weird stuff. Very dungeony.
If you haven't listened to earlier episodes, the reason why me and Brengineer are the skittish deer taking the corn chip out of Tapes' hand is because we've been taped before and listened to a good 5, 6, 8 minute long story and totally feeling it, agreeing with it, enjoying it, and to find out that it was all a dream.
The only thing you're getting taped to here is an upside-down rack with a paddle on your spankum. That is all you're getting here. Yes, so other than that total fallacy that I just gave them, I have no idea who took this photo.
But we took the corn chip!
Yeah,
I ate the corn
we
chip.
took the corn chip, see? There's no Frau Milfa. I knew it. I was turning that name around my head.
How many women in Germany are named Frau? Come on.
Frau Milfa also collects milk and sells it online as her side business. Totally legit thing. To Schlechtweiner.
So, while we're looking at the back here, let me just say something real fast.
Absolutely.
It's a complete fallacy. An utter and complete fallacy. Milk crates. Those little milk, not milk, egg crates.
They do not preserve signs.
They do not do anything for your sound. Do not stick them on your walls. They do nothing at all.
So this...
And no one told Florian this.
I'm glad Brengineer brought this up because this is actually what completes the album for me and makes it really cool. The back of the LP is awesome. It's really cool.
Awesome.
And this is what has the story. The front is really goofy looking, but it does catch your eye. But the back, when you flip it over, here's the cool thing about Kraftwerk, ladies and gentlemen, is Kraftwerk is known for having Kling Klang Studios. Kling Klang Studios is like their brand. Yeah, und ja, Kling Klang Studios. Kling Klang Studios was created shortly after this album, and it is this amazing, intricate murder building. It had a basement level where they would create their own instruments for their music. They never discarded any old gear. Everything was resalvaged, repurposed, and remade into something new for one of their albums. This was their apartment before they made Kling Klang Studios, and as you can see, it's lit up with all these different LED lights. They have this really cool. They have Ralph and Florian next to each of them, and they're sitting across from each other, as Brengineer said, with this kind of janky recording studio set up, but it's just super effective. And they both have keyboards in front of them, and you can just tell that these guys are here, and they're like, we're making a brand. This is us making a brand. This is us creating. This is us becoming creators.
Yeah.
It's really
nice,
cool.
This is Bookhouse.
What's nice about creating electronic music is generally you don't need any proper room, so to speak. You can make, like, these guys are making hits in their bedrooms before your snotty 13-year-old kid was making dubstep, a few years ago in theirs. And so these guys were those original nerds sitting around in their rooms playing with synthesizers. And their synthesizers aren't even close to what we're talking about today. Like, they would make their own. They were building their own drum pads, and there was tinfoil involved. Like, these guys were. They were like the grandfathers of everything we know and love today with electronic music.
And that's perfect, Brengineer. So here's what's really cool. So this is what covers do, folks, because the front was great. The back is what sucked me in, because that tells a story. And like I said, they created Kling Klang Studios, right, and had all these different areas for all the aspects of their music that they would record in and create in. These guys, after this album, really took off. They started making their own sounds. They started creating instruments. They had one of the first early vocoders, one of the very first early vocoders, and Florian was obsessed with the vocoder, and he actually created his own signature vocoders that ended up making, I forget what they called it. I think they called it RoboVox. RoboVox, which was actually a unique sound that they had because he specifically created it out of these instruments. They created loops and sounds that you can hear today in other artists' music. They are quoted to have being influenced. David Bowie actually has a song dedicated to them. Depeche Mode, the lead singer of Depeche Mode, recognizes them as an influence. Moby, meh. They're all fans.
Easily,
they all,
Moby.
yep. And then even you can hear it really strongly in Daft Punk. Daft Punk says that especially
major.
These guys are huge. And you listen to their music, and it has this really cool, these waves of early synth, and you can just tell that it begins to lift off. And once they hit their next album, which I believe came out 1 year after this in '74, Autobahn, that is when things start to get really into this transcendental, pure synth pop. And that's what these guys made. They stopped doing krautrock, and they are what I believe one of the early founders of the synth pop movement.
Easily.
Which is super cool. And you can see the beginnings of that in the back of this album cover.
In this basement.
I listened
to some Kraftwerk today because I was going in blind, and I was like, this is the ultimate traveling music. It was just like,
it is.
You get this. Autobahn is a 22-minute song that takes you on a journey that changes. And I will say there's some annoying parts in it, but, not every part of your journey is going to be,
The funny part of that song is you're sitting in your car, driving down the Autobahn, looking at the countryside, and then all of a sudden you're like, ah! And these two guys pop up next to you going, fahren, fahren, fahren in the Autobahn, fahren, fahren, fahren in the Autobahn, with this Ralph and Florian face, and you're just like, gah, let me get back to the road.
Honestly, their vocals are the worst
best part. The best part.
No.
The best part. It's the most airy German. I love you so much that I give you my time. I want you to stay with me in my life.
It wheedles its way into your brain. I listened to Tour de France, and I was like, I was in the bathroom later, and I was like, Tour de France, Tour de France, Tour de France. I just pissed all on my pants. Tour de France, Tour de France. It's just like, it wheedles its way into your brain. You're like, this is not for me. And then later on.
But it's so German. It's so German because, like, after this, they all got the suits. They all wear very stiff uniform suits. They have that weird straight laced German like accent, and they have this like this very strict brand, and their music is industrial, of course. So it follows. You can't listen to this and not think that these guys. Not to mention that
they were Rammstein. They were the Rammstein of the 70s.
Oh, for sure. That's the best way to put it. And all their stuff is about like trains and bicycles and having sex with robots.
The best
like, what's more German than that? What is more German than that?
Well, I swear I saw Florian in a documentary. If anybody knows which documentary I'm talking about, please help me. It might be Sample This, but I'm not sure. I got from the library a while back a documentary about music, and it turned out to be a documentary about samples and sampling and early hip hop and stuff like that.
That's amazing.
But I think they talked to Florian because all of a sudden we were in this like loft apartment with this German guy, and he's taking apart this like sound pad and making his own sound pad and like fashioning his own buttons to it. And he's like,
did he have a weird
I've
duck
got
face?
to be the analog because I just can't get on the computer. I like having all the little buttons and the little
Oh, that's him for sure.
And I was like, I was like, he was bald. He had the big glasses on. He had the hawk nose. He was tall. While you were talking, I was furiously trying to find the credits because he might be the key to finding that documentary because I'd like to watch it again. I don't know if it's Sample This, but that's usually what comes up when I try and but I mean that documentary is awesome. It goes from Bismarcky to this German loft, putting together
that is polar opposites right there.
Yeah.
Let me springboard off that into the diving pool here real quick.
Yes.
Speaking of samples, I found this. A song came on my mix. It's called Computer Love by these guys. And something struck me as funny because I had heard the melody before. Sure as shit, I went and I looked up the Coldplay song, Talk. The song Talk by Coldplay off their album
really?
X and Y. It is a direct lift off of Kraftwerk's Computer Love. Go and listen to it. Right after this episode, folks. And the best part is after I discovered this, I went on YouTube to listen to the song, and I just scrolled down the comments. Third comment down, this guy is like, "Hey, these guys lifted this off Computer Love." Yes, it's out there.
Nerds.
The nerds are out
nerds.
there. That dude, uncredited copy. It's not just hip hop. It's not just rap. Shitty pop. I don't even know what Coldplay is. Ambient rock. They steal shit too. That song is a complete ripoff. So Kraftwerk is out there. They're in the veins of the world. And sadly, Florian Schneider died at age 73. I mean, that's pretty good. He did good. And he died of cancer. I don't know if it was a bone, but it was it was cancer all the same. Yeah.
Coldplay is mom rock.
Coldplay is mom rock. Yeah,
that's mom rock.
It's breakup music. So I'm going to close off on a quote here from Ralph that he said about Schneider. He said Schneider's approach was concentrated on sound design. This was in an interview in 2005. Hutter called him a sound fetishist and vocoding speech synthesizer. One patented implementation of the latter was christened the RoboVox. So that's what I was talking about there. It was the RoboVox, a distinctive feature of their music. Hutter said of Schneider's approach, he is a sound perfectionist. So, if the sound isn't up to a certain standard, he doesn't want to do it. With electronic music, there's no necessity ever to leave the studio. You could keep making records and sending them out. Why put so much energy into travel, spending time in airports, waiting in halls, in backstage areas, being like an animal, just for 2 hours of a concert? But now with the Kling Klang studio on tour with us, we work in the afternoon, we do sound checks, we compose, we put down new ideas in computer graphics. There's always so much to do, and we make progress. Kind of a funny quote because it totally diverges from talking about Florian there, but I think what he's getting at is this whole band, Florian, Ralph, Kraftwerk, which is what he's remembered for, is responsible for making an impact and creating an imaginary, an overarching cloud of just imagination and creativity that so many people have tapped into. And I think that's what's important here, and that's what you can take away from Kraftwerk, this cover, and Florian Schneider.
Yeah, I mean, just like their music, their covers, too, are pretty basic and clean. If you look at their covers, they all look like logos.
They're pretty bad. Most of them are pretty bad.
They're bad, but they kind of look like traffic signs or logos or vinyl stickers. They're very minimalist, 2 colors, but they fit the music.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we got. We wanted to raise our glass. We wanted to swish the little bit we have, because I've drinking most of mine, and we wanted to pour out a little liquor for you. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here under the table, stuck behind a chair, behind a couch, as we record these episodes for you guys. We really hope you enjoyed it. Please, if you like us, follow us. Let us know what you think. Send us your comments, your critiques. Please send us your covers. You can do that at Instagram at CoverDecoder, and you can do that at coverdecoder@gmail.com. Once again, thank you guys so much for being here with us tonight.
Yes. And remember, you can go to coverdecoder.com and you can follow along with the links. So
absolutely.
We're going to send off now, and remember, COVID bad, covers good.